Hey, good morning, San Diego. We had a great radio show last night on 1170 AM KCBQ. Here we are this morning with you on The American Dream. My goal with every show is to educate, empower, and engage. We're bringing great guests today, a local charity, church, Melissa Tucci, the #1 realtor per Century 21, Steve Sexton, radio show host and financial advisor, all helping you navigate this crazy marketplace. Let's go ahead and get this show started right now.
I go to battle for you every day to combat the nonsense in the mainstream media. They're more interested in sound bites and sensationalism. I'm interested in the truth and being your consumer advocate. My ultimate goal is to help you win in any marketplace, and I'm bringing an edge in the real estate and financial game. My name is Craig Sewing, and this is The American Dream.
Hey, good morning, San Diego. Good to have you on the show again. A lot to talk with you about today. We got one of the best financial advisors in the marketplace in Steve Sexton, who's written books. He hosts a radio show, soon to host a TV show called The Silver Hair Tsunami. He's going to be joining me in studio. We got to talk about the volatility in the marketplace, but also we're going to give you some advice to leave here with today. Also joining us in studio, Melissa Tucci. This woman is such an amazing woman. She is the top producer for Century 21, does more transactions than anyone else in San Diego, just out hustles everybody. So she's going to come in here and talk a little bit about not only the market, but some of the micro markets here in San Diego. And we're going to do some help for our community today. We're going to support some charity. We're going to do a cool interview at the end, talk about an upcoming blood drive. So a lot to chat with you about. Of course, this is a great opportunity for me to remind you that if you want to comment on the show, engage with us or the professionals, visit me online at craigsewing.com. Happy to facilitate any introduction for you. Now, let's go to the word on the American Dream. So this week on the radio show, we're having an interesting dialogue, and we were talking about the way that the country has become so polarized. We were discussing the Cam Newton discussion. Some people are just attacking this guy for his post-game interview on the Super Bowl, and some people are just rushing to defend. I'm empathetic. I fall somewhere in the middle. I've lost games. It's tough. I'm a sports guy, but also you should hold yourself better. It's okay to be in the middle. But you also see these issues when it's not something just like football. You see it in politics. You see it in news. You see it on financial market updates and real estate stuff. And that's where it gets really troubling, is you have opinions that get so polarized that that middle ground gets lost. And so we're having this conversation on our radio program. It got really interesting, and we had so many people reach out to me online to comment on the show, and I wanted to share with you today. One of the things we discussed, we actually did this while we were on the show. We went on my computer and we went to CNN.com. I want you to try this. Go to CNN.com today. Go on your phone. Check it out. What you're going to find is that every article on the left-hand side of that page, I'm willing to say 90% of them, if not more, maybe even 100%, are negative. It's going to be about a car wreck, a terrorist attack, a robbery. You name it, if it's negative, it'll be there. It's the saddest thing what's happened between media and us as the U.S. population. So we talked a little bit about that, how our media puts out this message, and it drives people to argue, disagree, and it's a big reason that I think less people are watching the news. More people are disengaged from politics than ever before. Congress has a 14% approval rating. That probably doesn't help. And ultimately comes out of this, and here's the point we made on the show and we're going to make here today. Which is the tail wagging the dog? If CNN doesn't get clicks on those links, those advertisers stop spending money. So when it's a story about the Kardashian family or the latest car wreck or something that ISIS did, I'm not saying that news isn't important, but journalism is really dead, and it's why the reason is because the media sells sensationalism, cynicism, negativity, and they get you to click. And when it comes to TV and radio, which are mediums that you find us in, they get you to watch these shows, and that's why advertisers pay, or radio shows. Negativity sells, but on our show, we want to go against the grain of that. Buying into the American dream is celebrating the fact that we live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. That's why I want you tuned in here. I want you to tune into this show to get a positive message on the opportunities that exist in every marketplace, certainly the one we have here today, that there's solutions if you have challenges, but there's also opportunities to buy real estate, invest, a lot of other things as well. And this is stuff we talk about on this show. And of course, if you have questions, my #1 job, my favorite thing to do is to be your consumer advocate. Reach out, ask for advice, ask for an introduction, or simply comment on the show, and we're happy to help you there. So on that note, Why don't we go ahead and get started and bring in our first American Dream expert, Steve Sexton. He is a radio show host on KCBQ right behind my program. He's written a book. He runs one of the most successful financial firms in San Diego, and he joins us in studio. Steve Sexton, thanks for joining the show.
Greg, thanks for having me.
All right, so volatile financial market, politics playing in, global marketplace, market off to a kind of rough start. Always good to ask you about this before we get into some of the niche advice. Come on, I like this stuff, right?
What fun, what fun.
Yeah.
You know what, you have Janet Yellen just saying just last week that, hey, the market, this market might not be able to be sustainable, so they might not be doing as many rate increases, which doesn't make things happy for the stock market, or it could make things happy for the stock market. You still have the global issues. Again, this is the time to sit down with your advisor to make sure you have a plan for dealing with the volatility. There's always a point that where you say, hey, I got to step off. We just talked to somebody the other day that got all freaked out, went to an advisor, and that advisor says, oh my God, your oil's down by 30%. Okay, let's talk about that. Hey, oil's down to 30. If it was down 30%, that means $10. Now, if oil comes back up to 60 at the end of the year, they just lost out on a whole bunch and they shot themselves in the foot. So the key here is don't panic. Understand, sit down with your advisor to understand the risk you're taking on, how far they think it's going to go further down. Can you live with that? And then understand, hey, you know, things do come back up. And if you have time, hey, you're in a great spot. If you don't have time, you might need to make some changes, but make some thoughtful changes.
Do people freak out in markets like this?
All the time.
Yeah. So don't freak out is probably a good piece of advice.
Yeah, you know what, don't worry about it. If you're young, it's a beautiful time.
If you're young, it's fine, but I'm thinking more 50, 60 years older, you're starting to look at retirement a lot more closely, and your portfolio is getting hit, and you're wondering, is this 2008? Is it going to implode, and is this going to move my retirement back and deteriorate all my money?
Let's talk about that. People are freaking out because of oil. The last time it was like that was in 2008 when it was right around 30 when we had the global financial crisis. Before that, it was right around when we had the tech bubble of 2000 which sent the U.S. into recession. So people are a little worried about that. Now, again, people are afraid and freaked out because they don't know. Yeah. And this is the time to sit down with somebody who does know.
Get a little checkup.
Yeah,
Makes
get
sense.
a checkup. And if you got somebody saying, hey, it's okay, don't worry, have them explain. And if they can't, find somebody else to give you a second opinion.
So Steve Sexton hosts a radio show on 1170 AM KCBQ. And recently you were talking about, now this is more niche advice, right? We're talking market, interesting stuff, a lot of volatility, but niche advice, tax refunds, setting up your tax plan. Let's talk about that.
Well, first of all, the average person last year received a little bit over $2,500. In fact, this year, 80% of people expect to get a tax return, but most of them, they just splurge on one item and it's gone. And if they're using it a little bit more prudently, they might be able to do something that's better for their life in the long run. You know, and it's funny because if you Google how to spend my tax refund, there's over 1 million responses.
Wow.
And what a lot of people don't realize is April's a time when retailers, for furnishings, for cars, for clothes, they're going to have all those tax refund specials because they want you to spend it.
It's good marketing.
But here's where the advice comes in. What most people don't realize is, you know what, you're paying the U.S. government or overpaying them on your taxes each and every month, and they're not paying you any interest. And then you get to file and fill a form, and 2 months later or 3 months later, you get your tax return. Okay, it's your money and you're overpaying it. Do you want the government to hold it for a year? No. You should probably look at increasing your W-4, which is your deductions, adding to your 401k, because that would be the smartest use.
Yep.
Now,
you know, it's interesting though, you said 80% of people are going to be getting a return this year, plus or minus. It's getting your money back. That's always the funniest thing to me. So they go and they splurge the money. It's like I mean, it's kind of like Christmas. It's a nice gift, right? But it's your money. Yeah, so if you, what you're saying is you could redesign the actual tax plan, not lose the interest out that the government's taking, and actually put that into an investment.
We have an adage, never pay taxes on money you're not spending. It's just inefficient.
Yep.
And that reduces the amount of money you can spend during your retirement, and that's very, very important.
So give us some strategies on what you can do. You're going to get the refund. All right. So the tax plan wasn't great this year. You got the refund. That's a good thing. So what are we going to do with it?
Well, first of all, hey, do something for the family. Great time to set up the kids' college fund or the emergency fund. The big thing here is people just got to get started. Once they get started, they'll get some momentum. Second thing, dining out. What a lot of people don't realize is last year people spent more money on dining out than groceries. So it's time to buy.
Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm so guilty of dining out.
Well, you know what? You're building a man cave too. So I know there's going to be a grill there. There'll be a meat locker, the whole shot.
Yeah.
So find a tool, get an appliance to help you stay at home and save some of that money. You know, Craig, I know you're a big coffee guy, so buy an espresso machine. Probably save you $1,500 a year from going to Starbucks.
Hey, I got the Keurig, right?
Yeah.
Of course, now you buy the Keurig, and now they're saying they're like poisonous. Anyway.
Now, next, hey, protect your home. You know what? Natural disasters happen. 12% of people have a generator. If natural disaster wipes out the power, you have a generator. It's a good thing. Other than that, whether you're renting or owning, good time to look at insurance, make sure you have enough, and then look at home renovation. I'm not saying do the real expensive thing, but by just changing things like doors and siding, you can increase the value of your home more so than doing an add-on.
Yep.
Next, if you're looking at how the air flows, light bulbs, and the water flows in your house, you can save on your monthly budget each and every month with that tax refund.
Makes sense.
Next thing, debt decrease. I know this isn't fun because we all want to spend the money,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, if you're paying down your debt, you're not paying interest on it.
Yep.
If you have a whole bunch of credit cards, it's time to get organized. You can go to my website at sextonadvicegroup.com. We have a debt organizer, but here's what you want to do. You want to line up all your credit card debt, make the minimum payments, but on the lowest one, pay off the credit card. Once you do, cut it up. You'll get momentum towards getting to the goal of not having any more debt, and that's totally liberating.
And what I've learned from our credit expert, cut it up, but don't close it, because that line can be great for your credit. So,
that's true.
Holistic advice. Steve Sexton, radio shows. The reason I love having you on here is you help a lot of people with millions of dollars, but the advice you're giving today, the little things, right? The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit of extra. It could be paying off that high interest credit card debt, putting it towards home improvement, buying the coffee machine, bringing the coffee machine with you. So cheers to that. All right, Steve Sexton, thanks for coming on the show. Here's what I would say. Here's a good action item for you. Visit sextonadvisorygroup.com. Let Steve know you saw him on the show. When he talks about giving a review, he's modest. I would encourage you to reach out to him. He's a brilliant financial advisor. Always good to have you on the show. Coming up next, the American Dream. Let's talk about housing. Melissa Tucci is the top producing realtor in San Diego. She's #1 for Century 21, I believe, in the country, #2 in the world. So maybe we'll give her a little razzing for that. And she's going to come in here to talk about the market and some of the micro markets here in San Diego as well. Stick around. You watch the American Dream. Melissa Tucci joins us in just a moment. And now in studio, she is #1 in the country for Century 21 Award. Unfortunately, she's in second place worldwide, but a top producer here in San Diego. Melissa Tucci joins us in studio. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So that #2 thing eats you alive.
#2 in Century 21
Well,
total. Yeah,
right.
worldwide.
Worldwide. I mean, it's, well.
It's an accomplishment. I'm excited.
On the globe, I want to make that very clear. We feature the top producers in the San Diego marketplace on this show, and nobody does more business than her. But it's also important that we mention that you're a great person too. I think a big reason is not just your work ethic, but people like working with you. That's really important, including the Padres. So football season is over. Did your team win Super Bowl?
I
didn't care, did you?
No, I cared. It was a boring game.
Yeah. So you're ready for baseball season. So Melissa's a Padres realtor. Do you know anything yet going into the season? Anything new, or just kind of doing your thing?
Nothing new, but what's exciting is that I actually get to go to one of the spring trainings in Arizona. So that's coming up actually next month. So I'll report back once I go to that and give you some hidden inside information.
So when I say pitchers and catchers report in a week or so, do you know what that means?
I do, but I'm not going to get test questions right now.
I know, I'm always mean to you on this. But you're a terrific realtor and you help them buy and sell real estate, and there's a reason they choose you. So you recently wrote a blog, right? A blog, as you put it for the show, about waiting. What happens if you wait to buy a home? Enlighten us.
Right, well, so what the blog was about was basically that now is the time to wait, because sometimes some people and buyers think, well, I should wait till the springtime. That's usually, the best time to purchase real estate, and a lot of sellers think the best time to put it on the market. But with the interest rates being low and with, potential of them going up, and also with the inventory levels right now, there's no guarantee that there's going to be a tremendous amount more of inventory in the spring. And so it's just, there's been a lot of studies as well. Even like in November, we had just November and December and January, just these amazing, months of a lot of sales. So, the rule of thumb, I think, is different, especially, we're in San Diego where it's 85 degrees this week. It's crazy.
Right. I wonder if the national media's messaging influences people in San Diego when they say things like spring. Spring probably does make a lot of sense if you're in the Midwest and you're snowed in right now.
Right.
But in San Diego, the weather doesn't really matter. Look at this past week. It's insane.
Right. And it's just timing.
It's the interest rates, I think, to me, are the big part that people might not truly comprehend. If rates go up, your purchase power goes down.
Right.
That mortgage payment goes up. So you might have been looking at a $700,000 house. I might bring it down to $600,000. So capturing low rates is so important. All right. So San Diego's a market's doing pretty well. I know there's a lot of activity in your world. You seem to cover all of San Diego. A couple micro markets we're going to hit on today. Mount Helix and Mission Hills. Start me off with Mount Helix. Talk us about that market.
So the Mount Helix, it's in actually La Mesa, and it's only 12 miles from downtown, but it is east. The property that I have on the market, it's a new listing. It's a 5-bedroom home, and it's over 4,700 square feet. So it's a huge property.
It's big.
Yeah, it's an amazing backyard. There's a pool. It's all renovated, all remodeled, and it's listed at a price range of $937,000 to $987,000, which
it always fascinates me when I hear when you describe the property first and then you tell me the price. And I'm not suggesting that $1 million home is not pricey, but when you're listing off a home that has that much square footage in that nice of an area that's fully renovated with that many bedrooms and a pool, I'm waiting for you to say $2 million.
I know. So, it's all relative to the location and what properties are selling for.
But Mount Helix is a great area.
Oh, it's one of the most desirable areas, especially in East County. So it's a great value, and it's, like I said, it's just going on the market today, in fact. So I think it's a great opportunity for families, for couples, even a single person that wants to.
Now, how long, when a property is priced that well, how long does it, in this type of market with low inventory, how long does that thing sit? Is it going to get a lot of offers? Is it gone, or what do you think?
Sometimes it's under 5 days, sometimes it's 30 to 45 days. What's interesting is that the average market time typically in a normal real estate world is 120 days, but if anything sat on the market here for 120 days, people panic.
Oh yeah,
if you don't get an offer in 2 weeks,
don't buy it. Yeah, no, it's
so I
really
would say
strange.
under 30 days is pretty average. Which is still great, for the type of property it is. And, a lot of times, too, when people are looking, especially in that price range, they want to look and maybe look again at other places and then verify that that's what they want to.
And honestly, we talk about real estate a lot and building equity and tax advantages and the power of home ownership. I hated it a few years ago when people were having to make offers on properties they didn't even look at.
Right.
Because they're trying to get in there. So to me, at least there's some flexibility on time. You also got one in Mission Hills, another great area of San Diego. Tell us about that one.
So this one actually, it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, but it has an ocean view and a bay view, and it's listed at $399,000. It has wood floors.
Okay, again, I'm surprised.
Yes, I know. But it's only a little under 600 square feet, but it's perfect for someone wanting to get into that area. It's affordable. The HOA is lower, and it even has a 1-car garage. So I'm like, wow, this is a great value. And you have a view.
It's obviously 600 square feet is smaller than the first one.
Right.
But Mission Hills is one of the most desirable areas in San Diego. And another thing that registers with me when you're giving a price range, again, I was waiting for the $1 million number, is that we just were speaking about interest rates. Interest rates translate to low mortgage payments. Low mortgage payments are translating to less than rent in many cases. So you first-time home buyers, it is such an opportunity. Buy a second home, rent that thing out. You could probably generate rent on that thing as well. I mean, is that a good thought on this one?
Absolutely. In fact, it was previously rented out as well. And, the property's on Columbia Street. I mean, it's a phenomenal location. It's really a great property, and that one's actually just coming on this week, too.
That won't go down in value.
No, absolutely not.
Mission Hills is, I think you're pretty safe. Melissa Tucci, the Padres realtor, as far as I'm concerned, #1 worldwide. The Century 21. I don't know who that other joker somewhere across the globe is, but I would use you over him. Or is it him or her?
It's a her.
No.
We actually spoke. I congratulated her. Good sportsmanship.
Oh, really?
I did.
Where is she?
She's actually outside of, on the border of Florida and Canada.
Ah.
So even though Canada is nowhere near the border of Florida, but she handles both areas.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where the rankings came in. So, and it was so close, but I always, I wished her well.
Thank you for clarifying that right there.
I know,
That
you got
really
nervous.
people would have been like, number 2, and she's close to Canada and Florida. I'm like, she's got long legs.
No.
straddling. Melissa
Two
Tucci, you're the
areas.
best. It's always good to have you on the show. Thanks for
All
coming
right,
in.
thank you.
All right, coming up next, Are You Feeling Charitable? Upcoming blood drive. We got a great interview that's very charitable. I want you to stick around. You're watching The American Dream. Back here in just a moment. All right, now joining us in studio with the World Mission Society Church of God, we have Steve Andrew and Stephanie Duran. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Song, for having us.
That's a mouthful. So, Steve, I met you a few months ago. I was invited to an event. It's a church class, a Bible class at SDSU. Our media concierge, she's over there. Deani Roth invited me to it. It was a very sweet thing to invite me to. I enjoyed it. And you had to basically, I was late, of course. That's kind of my thing. You had to go and find me in the middle of some massive parking lot to get me there. Enjoyed it. Have you heard the story of what happened after?
Actually, no, I haven't.
So you walked me out, and you're like, see you later. Well, you remember how you got me there?
Yes.
Well, I was in no position to find my way out. So first of all, I get so lost at SDSU, which, by the way, looks like the most fun campus ever. I got to see all of it. Then I get up, the hill? Going to the road and where the parking lot was? Well, I couldn't figure out a way to get across that road at SDSU where there's all this traffic. So I'm walking, it looks like there's no end in sight. Now I'm on this embankment and I can't get across, and the only way to get there without walking a mile is to just hop on my butt and slide on the dirt down this hill.
Oh my goodness.
So I just did it. I just did it. I was like, I'm not walking over there. So I just jumped on my butt and slid all the way down that hill and ran across the street and got there. So anyway, that's a true story. But it's good to have you in here. Tell us about the World Mission Society Church of God. Start with you, Stephanie.
Okay. Well, we're actually a worldwide church in, 175 countries. We have over 2,500 branches.
Wow.
2.5 million members. So, and we all are united through different efforts like the Good Samaritan movement, which is one of the reasons why we're here today.
Very cool.
Yeah, through different events that we've done worldwide, we are able to unite to actually share the love of Heavenly Mother.
Well,
So that's why
it's
we do
really,
it.
really cool that you guys not only do that, but you're here to share what you have going on. So you've done some events. Let's talk about some things you've done, and then there's a blood drive coming up. So what are some things you guys have done?
As you mentioned, there's a blood drive coming up on February 21st. But besides that, all our churches around the world, we've been participating in food drives, blood drives, disaster relief efforts, cleanup campaigns, multiple things like this. Just by the power of God the Mother, we're just that's our driving force. Mainly all the churches around the world, we're really united, and because of God the Mother, we're able to work out and do all the things with ease, basically. But these are some of the events that we do.
It's not easy though. You're too modest. The reality is we're all so busy. We're caught up. I have a laptop and a phone right here, and not to mention all the electronics around us. We're caught up in a lot of the stuff. We're busy in our lives. Sometimes it's tough to find things for charity, and the fact that you guys are so committed is just an awesome thing. Yeah. So I appreciate your modesty. The blood drive coming up, I read a little bit about it. There's something I learned when I was reading, that 1 pint of blood saves 3 lives. That is interesting. I didn't know it was that important, right?
Definitely.
Tell us about the blood drive.
So our main purpose about, like you said, 1 pint of blood saves 3 lives. So our main driving force is we're preparing for the Passover. I'm not sure if you've ever heard about the Passover before, but we're mainly the Passover that was taught by Jesus Christ with his disciples. Through the teachings, he gave his flesh and blood to give eternal life, and that's coming up. So as believers in Christ, we're trying to give back to the community. So we can save physical lives by giving blood, just as we receive spiritual life by the flesh and blood of Christ.
So there's a nice natural connection that happens there.
Definitely.
Exactly.
So this is on what, February 21st?
February 21st at the Santee location.
So if anybody wants to participate, give blood, help others, what's the best way to go about it, Stephanie?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Just
hopefully
show up,
will,
don't drink the night before, and get a needle in your arm.
Drink lots of water, eat iron-rich foods. Definitely, I'll be there doing the scheduling, so if anyone would like to come, then we'll welcome them, definitely.
Are you looking for volunteers?
We do. We have a lot of our church volunteers. We actually already have, probably 150 volunteers signed up. And the organizations that do the blood drives, they're always so surprised because they're not used to having so many members willing to come give their blood. But we are trying to reach out to the community. That's why we're here. So we definitely want to interact with the community and let them know, let them understand the why we do it through the love of Mother and coming to join us.
Yeah, that's cool. And I appreciate coming here and sharing the story. Stephanie, Steve, thanks for coming on The American Dream. And, we talk about charity on the show quite a bit. A lot of times charities involve money. And sometimes you have $5 to give, maybe much more. Sometimes you have no money to give, but you can give blood. And knowing that it can save lives, what a great use of your time and what a great cause. Again, thank you for coming here. And thank you for allowing me to share my sliding. Didn't expect that one, did you?
No, not at all.
Well, there you go. All right, we are out of time for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Go donate some blood. Great cause. Love to support that. We will get to the Sewing Says segment, but make sure you reach out if you want to engage with our professionals. But let's go get to that Sewing Says right now. All right, here we are, the Sewing Says segment. This is where we answer your email questions. Now, these come from all different directions. Some come from my radio show. Some come from social media. Some right here from The American Dream. Well, all of them come from online, but this might be where you heard us. But if you go online to craigsewing.com, there's a contact form that emails me directly. So real estate, finance, mortgage, credit, tax planning, whatever it is, if it's on the financial wheel, email me, and I am going to give you a response within 24 hours. And if you need me to, I can introduce you to some great people. So let me get my phone out here. This is how we all communicate these days. Craig, what is a short sale? It can be taken out of context in many different ways, but a short sale means that somebody's selling their home when they owe more than it's worth. And there's not that many properties in San Diego where this is the case, probably 10% or so, plus or minus a few points there. So if you owed $600,000 on your mortgage, but it was only worth $500,000 and you needed to move, you might short sale the home. Now here's some advice for you. Never foreclose. A lot of times people just give up their home, give it to the bank. Well, that crushes your credit. Never do that. Terrible, terrible thing. Legal liability, financial liability, absolute nightmare. Short sale is actually a solution. People look at it negatively. Look, nobody wants to be underwater on their house, which is another term used around it. But if you are, this is the way that you can get out, so to speak, and it doesn't crush your credit. It's a lot safer. It's better for you. There's a lot of people who short sold their homes years ago, and they're already back in the market buying. So great opportunity for you. Let's get to another one here. Craig, what is a purchase agreement? So another real estate question here. A purchase agreement is when you're out in the market, like Melissa Tucci was on the show today, one of the best realtors on the planet, the best if you're looking at Century 21 Award. She's going to go out there and she's going to help you find a home. And in many cases, you're going to have a mortgage approval that's going to help you make an offer on the home because most people aren't paying cash, so you get a mortgage. So she's going to take you around the marketplace and you're going to find that home that you love and you want to move in there. So you make an offer on that home. Well, the seller of that property has got to accept your offer. And there might be other offers as well. A great realtor can navigate the marketplace. Someone like Melissa is well known, so she can get those offers accepted. But when it is accepted, it goes into an agreement. That agreement basically binds you in. There are contingency things that you can get out if you need to, but that is in itself the purchase agreement. Now, the rules and everything that applies to that agreement, well, that's case by case. There's an earnest deposit money put down, and there's an agreement between you and seller. It's usually about 30 days to basically get the deal done. You need to get an appraisal, inspection, things like that. And this is an important takeaway as we finish up the show. This is why it is so important to have an amazing realtor working with you. There's 20,000 real estate licenses. There should be half of that at best, but there are. A lot of people pretending to be professionals. You need to work with an elite professional, and that's who we introduce you to if you visit me online and you have a question you're buying or selling. By the way, I don't make a commission. I refer out, and I do it because it's out of the kindness of my heart for connecting you with the right people. That's the premise of this show, but I don't get paid a dime, more or less. So if you need a connection, go through craigsewing.com. I'm happy to connect you. All right, we're out for today. Hope you enjoyed the show and the Sewing Says segment. Have a good one, San Diego.